And we welcome those of you joining us after Texas Tech finishes off a very impressive win down in Houston. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Buonantony. Late night in Berkeley. That sounds fun, doesn't it? The Bears and the Blue Devils, they have not met in a long time. Now conference rivals. Duke's come a long way from home. Cal has the ball first. This is the first possession of the game and facing a 3rd down and 2 with their outstanding young quarterback who swings it out left side to Jesus, who's been very active in the offense early, and that's another Cal first down. Well, Songa Polatele, who's just turned 19 years old, so impressive, just a super talent, worth watching all on his own. Then you got Darian Mensah, another really talented quarterback. So Brock, a great quarterback matchup in this game tonight. And 2 undefeated teams in conference play. There's a completion to the tight end who's become a big-time playmaker, Mason Minnie, all the way inside the Duke 30.
Mason Minnie keeps coming up big for this Cal Bear offense through the first month of the season. You're going to see play action by JKS, and he does a great job of freezing those Cal linebackers just enough to get his tight end Mason Minnie behind them to the 2nd level. Great throw and catch for an explosive gain.
So that's 5 straight completions for Songa Polatele to start this game. He completes another one in a lot of traffic. That was dangerous to his running back Raphael. And Bradley Gompers in on the tackle. Gompers wearing number 24 for Duke. If you're part of the audience that just joined us after that Texas Tech win, one of the most experienced Duke defensive players, Trey Freeman, on the 2nd play of the game went down with what looked like a shoulder injury, so he's out, and a true freshman linebacker Gompers is in. Blue Devils already beat up on the defensive side. Cal making some changes to the play call here. On the move, first drive of the game. And now a penalty flag thrown. So after all that, the Bears just never looked organized on that play.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And if you've been watching college football all day, I mean, it's been another crazy day across the country. Every conference, big upsets, surprising results. I mean, this one we expect to be a very tight, close game. The thing about this game, Brock, is the ACC, I mean, there's been no league that's had more surprises in both directions than the ACC. And these 2 teams are positioned to have a really good year. This is a big game on both sides. Songa Polatele somehow got that one between 2 defenders. Tron Grizel with the catch. Another beautiful pass from the freshman.
Well, it all gets started by a great blitz pickup by the running back Kendrick Raphael. And then look at this throw. This is into a cover 2 zone. Perfect little honey hole shot. You see the running back picking up the corner blitz, and just an excellent throw by the true freshman quarterback.
Now a bad snap, and Songa Polatele's got a fall on it. A penalty flag also thrown. So first down Bears, not 1st and goal, but inside the 20. ACC officiating crew tonight.
Offside. Defense number 43. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Samaj Turner, one of the many defensive linemen who will see time for Manny Diaz's team.
Love what offensive coordinator Brian Harsin has done on this drive for the Cal Bears. He has shown this Duke defense so many different formations. He's doing shifts. He's doing motions. He's presenting a lot of eye candy to this Duke defense right now.
And they ran the ball on the first play of the drive, and since then it's been all through the air. They run it for a 2nd time, and a really nice run. It was 1st and 5, and they get just enough for a first down. So now it's 1st and goal Cal to start this game.
Kendrick Raphael coming off a fantastic game a week ago on the road against Boston College. 25 carries for 119 yards. He's a guy that's really taken this starting role over in the running back room. Coming into the season, it was kind of a 3-headed monster. There was still a competition. Who's going to be the guy? Raphael has certainly taken the reins of that position.
Under center for the 1st and goal snap. And they'll hand it off to Raphael. Stutter step move. He had nowhere to go. Just fought to get back to the line of scrimmage. VJ Anthony, one of the experienced defensive linemen for Duke. Another one of those Durham natives playing for the Blue Devils on D.
And he needs to play big tonight for Duke. The Cal offensive line. They've had some question marks at the offensive tackle position this year. They finally settled with Frederick Williams and Leon Bell. But these edge players, Wesley Williams and Vincent Anthony, need to come up big here tonight for this Blue Devil defense.
You saw a shot of the Blue Devil quarterback Darian Mensah on the sideline. This has been a 10-play, 5.5-minute drive already to start this game. Play fake. Songa Politele surveying, throws, caught, touchdown. Jordan King, who started to make some plays in the past game. Now there is a penalty flag in the backfield area. For now, that's a touchdown and maybe a personal foul at the end of the play. What a start for the Cal offense. Bears are celebrating like this is definitely going to stand as a touchdown.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. The defense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kick. Result of the play, touchdown.
Okay, so the penalty yardage marked off on the kickoff. What a first drive. 11 plays, 75 yards. Songa Politele, the true freshman quarterback, 8 for 8 for 71 of those 75 yards.
Just excellent on the opening drive, picking up right where he left off a week ago against BC. Led a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. And he showed there on that opening series why he has been so impressive in his first month of being a college football player.
Chase Meyer, one of the kickers. Cal's got a few of them, and he's going to attempt the point after try. That is up and good. So Cal marches right down the field, and Songa Politele on second and goal finds his man, Jordan King. Touchdown, Bears. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Old Spice. Some late night here at Memorial Stadium in Berkeley. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler. We try hard not to oversell this kid that we've seen a few times now, but Jared Keave Songa Politele, he's so young, he's so inexperienced. Man, is he so talented.
He's amazing, and he just showed you why. He started the game 8 for 8, 71 yards, finished it off with a beautiful touchdown pass. And that's against a really good Duke defense that played lights out against Syracuse a week ago. I think we're in for a great quarterback matchup tonight.
Yeah, they dominated the Orange. They did not dominate on this first drive.
All right, so watch this. Here's his first read. Here's one, okay? Here's two. And then King's going to come out the back door. This is actually his third read. And watch how this true freshman quarterback stays calm when not one is open, not two is open, but works to his third progression, no panic. You have a 6'6", 260-pound defensive end bearing down on you, and he doesn't flinch, delivers a strike. Absolutely perfect.
He is worth staying up late to watch, this kid. And so is Duke's young quarterback, Darian Mensah, his first year in Durham. And the first play from scrimmage for the Blue Devils. A penalty flag thrown as the pass is complete. That's Samir Hagans who makes the catch. Gain of 3, but flag on the field.
Holding. Offense number 7. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's going to be Quayshawn Brown on the outside, the speedster, the slot receiver, 5'8", 165 pounds. You see the hold there, clear as day. On the strong safety, Polidor, the transfer from Montana State. Easy call for the officials.
Well, Duke penalties have been a big issue for Duke. For all the good stuff they've done, it's a bit of an ominous sign when the first play of scrimmage for the Blue Devils offense is another penalty.
Yeah, it's really something that both teams have struggled with. Cal had 11 penalties a week ago on the road against BC, and Duke 9 on the road against Syracuse. Something both teams are going to want to clean up.
Mensah throws it down the right sideline, incomplete. Threw it right over the head of Cooper Bartkate, coming off a big game. Blue Devils overall had a big game. Last week at Syracuse, they just dominated the Orange, and this guy played maybe his best game yet.
Yeah, he was excellent a week ago, and you look at the yards and touchdowns right there. Both of those categories are tops in the ACC conference. He has been absolutely excellent since transferring in from Tulane this season. I'm really anxious to see what he does tonight against a great Cal defense.
And as a collegiate player, this is the closest to home that he has ever played. 2 different flags on that second down run. And I would think this one's going against Duke as well.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Justin Pickett, your right guard. He's a 2-time team captain for the Duke Blue Devils. Somebody that's been really solid. He's going to be right here. He's working on TJ Bowlers, who's having an excellent year for the Cal Bears at his defensive tackle position. You see that left hand getting outside the frame and ultimately ends up tackling him to the ground.
So Duke's moving backwards on this first drive.
The penalty has been declined. Third down.
All right, so they decided to, which is interesting. That's a tough decision, I think, for a head coach. Justin Wilcox decides 3rd and 12. He'll take that as opposed to 2nd and maybe 22 or something like that.
You're right, Flem. That is an interesting decision. 3rd and 12, still a very difficult down and distance to pick up, but I kind of like 2nd and 22.
Mensah in the pocket, 4-man rush. Mensah's going to try to escape, and he can't. He goes down. Well, Cal with the pass rush gets to the quarterback, Jaden Wayne, who's having to play a lot. Ryan McCullough's out for the year. TJ Bush was there as well.
Well, I really want you to watch TJ Bush and how he pushes the edge of the pocket here with his bull rush. This was the big question coming into tonight's game. With Ryan McCullough being out for the season, would the Cal Bear defensive front be able to create a pass rush with only 4 rushers? I think they just answered that on the opening series.
What a start for Cal. Their offense goes down the field, scores a touchdown. Their defense forces a 3 and out. Now this dynamic return man has a chance to bring one back. He's changing directions. DeJesus, one of the best in college football. And he showed you why there. He gets out near the 45-yard line. So the Cal fans who are here in big numbers late night in Berkeley, happy with the Bears' start.
ESPN College Football is presented by Old Spice. Men have skin too.
Now, if you ask Cal fans, Duke, Cal, what do you think of? I think a big number. Go back to 1993. Duke was going for the 3-peat. They were the 2-time defending college basketball champions. Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley met Jason Kidd and Cal in the 2nd round of that tournament. The Bears knocked him out. One of the great wins, I think, in the history of Cal sports, with the spotlight that was on that game. It was Jason Kidd's real coming out party for the nation.
What the legends involved in that game. Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley.
So many great players. And maybe the next Cal great in football is playing quarterback tonight for the Bears. 7-0 Cal, getting the ball for the 2nd time after a very impressive first drive. Songa Politele is going to play fake, go down the left sideline. Grizel, and he goes up and catches it. It's contested, but I think that's a Cal catch. Kamari Robinson with the coverage. They're still trying to sort it out there on the turf. But they're saying that's a catch for Cal.
What a play by Tron Grizel. This is something that he's been doing all year. He is winning these 50-50 balls for his young true freshman quarterback. And he has a height advantage in this situation. This is 6'4", working on 5'10" Kamari Robinson, number 5 right there for Duke. Grizel just doing an excellent job of high pointing that football and bringing it in.
That was pretty good defense. Now a flag thrown right in the middle of the Cal offensive line. So a handoff to Raphael. This one could well be going against the Bears. That last play.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It was a gain of 29, but now the penalty on first down.
That's on the left guard, Spasovic Moko. You're going to see here, it's an easy call for the officials. It's a complete tackle. Right here, 66 on the right side of your screen. That's him working on Josiah Green, the Dartmouth transfer, who's certainly made an impact early on in the season for this Duke defense.
So one thing we've learned in the first few minutes of this game, pressure comes quickly, and Songa Politele takes a hit, but does get rid of it. The linebacker blitzing Luke Murgott. Duke may have to do a little more of that.
Yeah, certainly. That is exactly how you slow down a young quarterback. You start bringing pressure and you test, is he going to be able to recognize the pressure? Does he know where to go with the football? Does he have quick answers? That time Duke won. Great call by defensive coordinator Jonathan Packey.
That was his first incompletion of the night, and it's 2nd and 20. We'll see if Cal runs a couple plays at least to try to get into good field goal position. Raphael alongside his quarterback, who stands in the pocket across the middle. A huge hit, but Jordan King hangs onto the ball, and here comes the flag, and maybe they're going to look at targeting for this one. That's Gompers, who's already in the game because Trey Freeman, the starter, is hurt. Now, I don't know if this is targeting, but what a catch and throw.
Well, if it is, that's certainly not good for this Duke defense. They are so thin.
The movement on the field is a completed pass for a first down. Personal foul. Targeting. Defense number 24. The previous play is under further review.
So thin at the linebacker position, but how about that throw by Sangu Politelli? And for Jordan King to hold on to this football, Duke elects to bring pressure. You see number 2 Francois coming off the edge.
Ooh.
But the location of that throw, and then you see King is certainly a defenseless receiver at this point. There's crown, there's forcible contact to the head and neck area. This is clear-cut targeting, and unfortunately for Duke, they can't afford to lose another linebacker, but I think that's what's going to happen here with Bradley Gompers.
I mean, it's an amazing catch, by the way, as you pointed out. Jordan King, just incredible courage and concentration, but that's got to be targeting.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy one for the officials, but Jordan King, let's go look at this thing in real time. How about the concentration? And you said it, Flem, just the fearlessness and toughness for him to pop right back up, hold on to that football. Jordan King, someone who's really come on the last couple weeks at 220 pounds, kind of a possession guy, showing off his toughness there.
Next time, wear that mouth guard in.
I was thinking the same thing.
Don't be running with that thing flopping around.
Good news is he popped right back up, and you see the big smile. He's doing just fine.
Well, we're going to have to, assuming this is upheld, and it is targeting.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting has been confirmed. Number 24 has been disqualified from the game.
I mean, we're going to have to figure out who's going to play at that position for Duke.
Well, this Duke linebacker depth is certainly being tested. The good news for Blue Devils fans is Duke likes to play in a dime package every so often. So they'll bring in 6 defensive backs, get an extra linebacker off the field, and only play with 1 linebacker. We'll see if they have to go to that defensive personnel sooner rather than later. And then if they do, the real question is, will they be able to stop the run?
Now we saw Jonathan Packey, the defensive coordinator, wearing that Duke hoodie. He's on the sideline during the games. He's got some stuff to figure out. So the catch, the penalty, it's 1st and goal Cal. Already leading 7-0. Raphael, a little stutter step move and gets down to the 5-yard line. So got a couple yards or so on 1st and goal. 2 drives, 128 yards for the Bears. Trey Freeman, the starter, out with an injury. Bradley Gompers, his backup, out because of targeting. Elliot Shopper's going to have to play a lot of snaps. Number 31, another true freshman. Duke hustling defensive players at the last moment onto the field. They don't look particularly organized for this play. Under center, they're going to pitch it to Raphael. Gets a block. Touchdown, Cal. Just some power football there. And the Bears offense, it's just the first 10 minutes of this game, but they're putting on a show.
What a perfect start for this Cal offense tonight. They got the pass game going with JKS. He's been nearly perfect. Ground game going with Raphael. Offensive line starting to take control of this line of scrimmage. And just punching it in, and just an extra point away from going up 14 points here midway through the first quarter.
Yeah, the second running back, or one of the other running backs, L.J. Johnson, almost like a fullback with a big block there. That was just beautifully executed by Cal.
Yeah, beautiful job by the 2 tight ends on the edge, Minnie and Johnson. getting Raphael outside, and it's been all Bears early on here in Berkeley.
We bet.
All right, Matt, Julian saying he was impressive at home. He was impressive last week coming out west to take on the Huskies in a very hostile environment. Washington's a good team. So he's one of the better young quarterbacks in the country. We definitely have one of those on the field here tonight as Duke returns the kick. The Blue Devils offense will come out for the second time, and they need to get their offense going. Down 14-0. Darian Mensah, who's really an amazing story. Young man who grew up in California, was very lightly recruited out of high school, ended up going to Tulane, was a backup there, earned the starting job last year, had a huge year, went in the portal and was highly coveted and transferred to Duke. It shocked a lot of people around the country that he chose Duke. He's put up big numbers early in his Blue Devils career.
Yeah, this was a massive get for this Duke Blue Devils football program. The thing that's impressed me most is his decision making, knowing when to push it down the field and when to check it down underneath.
A missed tackle out in the open for Cal, so that springs Andrel Anthony for an 8-yard gain on first down. Mensah, we enjoyed talking to him yesterday. He's really excited to be close to home. He completes his second pass to start the drive to Cooper Barkate. That was kind of his #1 target last week at Syracuse. And Duke, when they get it going, they go real fast.
Yeah, those two have certainly developed a great relationship here early on in their Duke Blue Devil career. But you can see a little bit of tempo here by this offense led by Jonathan Brewer is getting the Blue Devils going.
They'll hand it off to their true freshman running back, Nate Shepard, who is an emerging star for Duke. He's got a chance to really change this Duke offense, the young man from the state of Louisiana.
He certainly can. He packs a punch, but he also has breakaway speed. Really had a breakout performance a week ago on the road against Syracuse, over 200 yards of total offense.
Mensah throws that one, trying to go back shoulder, incomplete. Anthony again the target with Zeke Massis in coverage. Interesting, they're going after Massis a little bit in the early going because Zeke Massis has been excellent this year.
He certainly has. He's really been a lockdown corner for this Cal Bear defense coming in from FIU, where he had a terrific career. You got to wonder here, though, on 3rd and short, you're in plus territory. Is this 4-down territory? If it is for Manny Diaz, I expect Duke to potentially take a shot here to catch Cal off guard.
You got the big power back in the backfield, Castle. They play fake it to him. They are taking that shot, and a perfect pass down the field for a completion and a Duke first down. That's Jake Taylor, the tight end. Good call.
Well, it's all set up by the hard play action. Keep an eye at 15 right in the middle of your screen. There's the tight end. Jake Taylor does a terrific job getting off the line of scrimmage. Good free release. And because Darian Mensah did such a great job of selling that hard run action, he really got that Cal defense to step up. Was able to throw to the second level.
Well, the first Duke drive, they snapped it 4 times, had 2 penalties, and took a sack. Shepard, I guess he did not go down. He was almost down in the backfield. He fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. Safe to say this drive is going much better for a Blue Devils offense that has been explosive the last couple weeks. This game, I know it says 14-0. 3 minutes to go first quarter. This game is a long way from being over.
Oh, it certainly is. And you mentioned how explosive this Duke offense has been. A big reason for that is I think they've become a much more balanced offense the last 2 weeks, going a little bit more to the run game, taking a little bit off of Darian Mensah, and then you see mixing in the play action pass like they did a couple plays ago to create those explosives.
That's Curly Thomas, defensive lineman for Cal. Junior from the state of Texas, kind of wincing as he walks off the field. Well, without Ryan McCullough, who might be Cal's most talented defensive player, certainly one of them. He's out for the year. Isaiah Crosby, safety for Cal, one of their better players. He's out for the year. This week, more than any other in the early season, Cal's going to have to go down that depth chart to get some production.
2 very talented players that you just mentioned, and then they also lost a really great defensive tackle, Nate Burrell, a couple of weeks ago for the entire season. So very similar to Duke, having to test their depth right now on defense.
2nd down and 10. Play fake, Mensah. And that one is complete. He had a man open, and he found Brown inside the 15 for another Duke first down, gain of 19.
Brown just getting lost in the Cal zone coverage. You see Duke hurrying up to the line of scrimmage, wanting to keep this tempo up. Great execution.
Yeah, they have Cal out of sync, and Shepard turns the corner. Touchdown, Duke. You see the burst from the true freshman. They had Cal's defense disorganized on a really nice bounce back drive. First points of the night for the Blue Devils. And I think Duke's thinking, well, that's more like it. That's how they looked last week when they went up to Syracuse and just destroyed that Syracuse team.
That was an attitude drive right there for Duke. You know, saying, hey, listen, I get it. We traveled across the country. That first series was a little bit sloppy, but we're here to play. They got the ground game going, had some good plays down the field in the pass game. That was a really, really impressive answer by this Blue Devils offense. So I want to show you what they did. Duke got into a heavy set. This is a tight end playing left tackle. So they brought Bruno Fina, normally playing left tackle, over here to the right side. And then watch what TJ Bush does. He dives inside and he loses containment. There's no edge player setting this edge for Cal. And with Shepard's speed, all he needs is a half a second to capture that edge, and he's gone. We've been talking about the true freshman quarterback, Sangopola Tele, for Cal. This true freshman running back for the Blue Devils, Nate Shepard, I tell you what, he's going to be something special.
You think Cal fans are sort of thinking what could have been? Nate Shepard took an official visit. He didn't take many out of high school here to Berkeley. He strongly considered coming to Cal. He and Sangopola Tele would be sharing the backfield as true freshmen if he'd come to Berkeley out of high school. He had a monster game in his first career start last week, and there is no doubt now that he's the man in the Duke backfield.
Absolutely. He has been so impressive since the get-go. Even week one in that football game against Elon, he blocked a punt. So he's been making plays on special teams, buying his time. He's now earned the starting role, and he's not looking back.
DeJesus, return man, gets swallowed up, and the ball might have come out. I think the ball came out. Now there's a scramble for it. DeJesus, I think he fell on it himself. So no turnover. Cal will have the ball back at the 20 before they take a snap. Let's get back to studio with another update with Matt Berry.
All right, Flam, I've got your AT&T studio updated. It's just gone final. TCU in Colorado. Big night for Josh Hoover. 275 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2 of those to Eric McAllister. Frogs beat the Buffs 35-21.
All right. Well, I mean, that Big 12, Texas Tech, they look really good. Everybody else, I mean, it is a jumble. Sort of feels like the ACC, where you got Miami and what Miami's done in the early season, although their game's not quite over yet. We'll keep you posted on that one from Tallahassee. But then a big opportunity for a lot of other teams, including these two on the field here tonight. Nice run on first down for the Bears.
That's right, Flem. You really get the sense that the ACC is a wide open race. I think it's clear that Miami's at the top, and then you start saying, well, who's next? Is it Virginia? Is it Georgia Tech? Is it one of these two teams here tonight? It's going to be fun to watch.
Sangopola Tele just a little bit behind, but a nice catch from DeJesus. His wide receiver core owes him a few, because there have been a lot of drops for Cal. As good as the numbers have been for the young quarterback, they could be even better.
Well, I'll say this. This receiving core is certainly starting to make up for it tonight, especially that last play. DeJesus was pressed at the line of scrimmage by Landon Callahan, did a great job of staying patient, winning on the slant. And JKS and his receiving core, they're off to a great start tonight.
15 drops in the first 5 games. It's only felt like 50, I think, to Cal fans. First and 10 Bears. Sangopola Tele back to pass, going deep again down the right sideline, incomplete. That was Jay Plummer, who was covered by the All-American Chandler Rivers.
Yeah, and that's going to be a side of the field that JKS, he's going to want to think twice about throwing to. Chandler Rivers, an All-American corner for the Blue Devils, 4-year starter. He's been holding down that position for a long time. Excellent player out there. He's going to be a tough guy to challenge down the field.
A senior from Beaumont, Texas. Now on second down, a handoff straight ahead. Raphael outside the 35 gets maybe 3. And I said Raphael, that's LJ Johnson again with another carry. Final minute of this first quarter. Feels like the Blue Devils settling down a little bit.
Yeah, and this is a big moment for this Duke defense. Both their edge players, 97 Wesley Williams and number 7 Vincent Anthony, they need to come up big here. These are those obvious passing situations where you have a chance to kind of take over a game as a defensive front.
Duke loves to bring pressure. They do bring an extra rusher. Songa Politele dissects the defense and finds Jordan King for another catch, and that is a Cal first down, gain of 10.
How about the feel by this true freshman quarterback? He feels the secondary pressure. They bring a safety and a corner from the boundary side. He feels it. He drifts away from the pressure and delivers a strike on third down to Jordan King. His feel and presence in the pocket for an 18-year-old kid is just so impressive.
Yeah, it was that game-winning play last week that he made in Cal's come-from-behind win at Boston College. It was the arm talent, it was the throw, but it was also the feel in the big moment as part of what makes him so impressive.
He just does things that you can't coach.
Yeah, and Cal's very excited to have him under center. Action-packed first quarter, late night in Berkeley. Don't go to bed. 14-7 Bears leading the Blue Devils.
Here at Cal with Duke head coach Manny Diaz, you're already short-handed in the linebacker crew. You lose 2 more here in the first quarter. What's your challenge to that group?
We're drawing up defenses. It's tough. We're going to have Mike linebackers play Will, but guys have to step up, and we got a challenge. The quarterback is on fire. We got to get him out the first look, get him off rhythm.
Thank you.
You got to.
Now that's a good interview by Stormy. She got some real info. They're drawing up new defenses on the sideline.
I mean, they're down 4 linebackers at this point. I mean, it's every man is up. Anyone can go in there. This linebacking core is certainly being tested on here early in this ball game.
They are definitely up against a hot quarterback. Raphael just got tackled. That was a good play by Deshaun Stone with the open field tackle. Let's go back to Stormy for more info.
Yeah, Dave, while Trey Freeman is officially doubtful from the team, I saw him left the field, head to the locker room with that right arm shoulder in a sling. But I'll tell you, defensive coordinator Jonathan Padkey is also a position coach for the linebackers on the sideline. He's been extremely engaged on the iPad and talking to those guys.
Songa Politele, what a pass off his back foot. He was just buying time, backpedaling, and enough arm strength to find DeJesus.
Well, I tell you what, a big challenge by Justin Wilcox to his team coming into this game was find more explosive plays down the field. And I'd say early on in this football game, this Cal offense has certainly answered that call. Excellent pocket movement by JKS, and then DeJesus showing off that speed, coming all the way across the field, getting in his quarterback's vision for another big play.
And Jacob DeJesus having a really nice first half. Songa Politele, 13 of 15, 168 yards, 4 of those 20-plus yard pass plays already that Wilcox was talking to us about. Now toward the end zone, incomplete. A little bit of contact trying to find Grizel. Robinson with the coverage. Songa Politele wanted the flag.
And as much credit as we give Songa Politele, which he deserves all of it. Accurate passer, he's injected life and energy into this program. His play caller, Brian Harsin, who came in this year, he's been fantastic. You know, you think about what he's done, former head coach at Arkansas State, Boise State, Auburn. You know, he's a little bit of a quarterback whisperer. If you think about some of the guys he's worked with over the years, you see Harsin right there on your screen. He's been such a helpful guy for this young quarterback and mentoring him along. And I just love his play selection early on here tonight.
I'm glad you said that. Second down at 10. And that one is incomplete. This time the flag is thrown. Same intended target, same cover man. This time Robinson held him.
Pass interference, defense number 5. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
That's already the 5th penalty against Duke.
If you're going to play press man coverage and come up and try to challenge this big wide receiver, 6'4", Tron Grizel, you have to play with good technique. And right now, Kamari Robinson playing with poor technique, way too handsy, and those are easy calls for the officials.
Back to your point about the coaching staff. You got a defensive head coach, and really one of the better defensive coaches, I think, in the country, Justin Wilcox. And you got Harsin and Nick Rolovich on the offensive side. 2 really good offensive minds, former head coaches. Songa Polatele rolling out, looking to throw. He'll keep it and get tackled at about the 10.
Well, and it's great when you talk with Justin Wilcox, and we asked him, we said, Coach, why was Brian Harsin the right guy to bring in to call plays for your ball club? And it was a short answer, because he knows how to score points. He knows how to light up a scoreboard. He knows how to mentor a young quarterback, and he's done an excellent job. And then when you add Nick Rolovich to that offensive staff, it is just super impressive.
Yeah, it feels like they finally have gotten it right on that side of the ball. They've tried for a long time.
Well, it's a big deal. You finally have the quarterback to go with it.
Songa Polatele a little gimpy running back to the huddle after that last tackle, and the play clock winding down. He's limping. So maybe part of taking this timeout for Cal is just to give him a minute.
Timeout on the field.
So that is a little concerning for the Bears. Their young star limping around. Well, good news for Cal. Songa Polatele came back off the sideline after the Bears timeout and looked a lot better. He sort of limped over there. This was the tackle on the last play. Maybe ankle got turned a little bit. Maybe kind of got jammed into the turf just a little bit. I think he's okay.
I think he's doing just fine. We saw him jog back out there. Looks good to go.
When you're 13 of 16 in the first quarter plus, you want to get back to throwing the ball around.
Yeah, Cal fans can breathe a sigh of relief.
He's going to hand it off here. Raphael, some tough running, still going with some help from his offensive lineman, still pushing, and he gets down inside the 5, close to the 4 to set up 3rd down. Now they can get a 1st down. It looks to me like about at the 1-yard line.
Really good, tough running inside by Raphael. I love his patience. I think he's a 1 cut back. When he sees it, he hits it. 3rd and 3, you have to wonder, does Cal elect to put this football on the ground? Because, like you said, they can pick up a 1st down here.
They will. Raphael stretches. That's, in fact, Johnson, and it's a touchdown. And I beg your pardon, it was Raphael. He got the carry and he gets in the end zone. So good call by you. I mean, whether he got in, I think they'll look to confirm that. He definitely got a 1st down, but I think he made it in.
That was a really great effort by Raphael. That was 31. Elliott Shopper, the true freshman linebacker for Duke, trying to get Raphael to the ground. And Kendrick Raphael would not be denied.
Yeah, that was a tough run. So that's 3 drives and 3 Cal touchdowns. 3 extra points up and good. 75 yards, 55 yards, and now 80 yards.
Well, this is an offense hitting on all cylinders, but I want you to see what the center does and how he works up here on right in the middle of your screen. Lays an excellent block. This is Tyson Ruffins, the Nevada transfer. Played guard his entire career until this year. 1st-year center, just does a great job of getting up to that 2nd level and sealing off the linebacker so Raphael could pop the football into the end zone.
What did Justin Wilcox tell us this week? He said the 2 things we really need to take the next step. He's happy where his team is. They have a chance to have a really good year. We need our offensive line to take another step. We need our wide receivers to take another step. So far, so good.
I would say that is a check and a check in the other box. I mean, think about what the wide receivers have done tonight. They've been excellent. They've separated against man coverage. They found the holes in zone coverage. And then when you think about it, at 202 yards of total offense already in the football game for Cal, that doesn't happen if the offensive line is not playing great football. Justin Wilcox has to be thrilled.
That kickoff is going to bounce right around the 5 and returnable for the Blue Devils with a nice opening on special teams. Very good return. Hagens still going outside the 40. It's been a little bit of an issue for the Bears. Not kicking it deep. That's a 38-yard return. For 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you, Allstate. They have a lot of student athletes here at Cal. Here in Berkeley, proud of not just their football, basketball programs, their Olympic sports. Well, look at the discrepancy in terms of ball control in this game. Cal 200 yards already. They've had it for 13 minutes.
Well, the big one, yeah, it's the time of possession. I'm sure Mensa's just grateful to be back out there on the field.
And he completes a pass, but a big hit. What a play. He doesn't just pick passes off. Zeke Massis, he could tackle too.
Listen, Zeke Massis, he is the real deal. I really think he is the next great corner and lineage here for this Cal Bears program. You see him just flying up, avoiding the block, making a tackle. When you think of Zeke Massis, my thought goes right to Noel Williams, a season ago, All-American corner, third-round pick, who led the country in interceptions. Massis picking right up in his footsteps.
A dump down to the running back Castle, and another good tackle. For a very short gain, it's going to be third down right away. How does Cal keep doing it? I mean, Georgia does it, Ohio State does it, Alabama does it. You sort of understand those schools that produce all these defensive backs. Cal does it year after year.
Listen, Justin Wilcox has the formula. He had 3 defensive backs drafted a season ago. Wilcox, a former defensive back himself, he knows what he's looking for.
3rd and 11 for Duke. Pressure comes. It got picked up. Mensah throws, and it's caught for a first down and more. Barcade takes it back middle and gets tripped up in Cal territory. It's a big conversion for the Blue Devils.
Well, as we're pumping up Zeke Massis, who goes to work on him? That's Cooper Barcade. The transfer coming in from Harvard, a former FCS All-American, leads the ACC in reception yards, does a terrific job winning on 3rd down.
And a nice first down run from Anderson Castle. The App State transfer, the big power back for Duke. So that's his first official carry of the night. He's going to get another one here. Left side run and a good cut. He is a north-south runner for sure. And that's a Duke first down.
Well, Castle is certainly the thunder to Nate Shepard's lightning. I really like the combination of these 2 backs, but Anderson Castle, veteran presence, graduate transfer coming over from Appalachian State. He's been excellent for this Blue Devils program.
So Duke's on the move. This throw is caught again. Another great catch by Barcade. 15 more yards.
Barcade working on Josiah Wagner. I tell you what, this kid knows how to play football. He was so fun watching on film this week, getting ready for this football game. Knows how to separate versus man coverage. Great play.
I watched him. My daughters go to Yale. I watched him last year in the game, Harvard-Yale, and he just torched Yale. Play after play after play. Of course, Yale ended up winning the game, but he was on my radar last year playing at Harvard.
He's just such an impressive young man. When you talk to him, he said it was his plan all along. I was going to go to Harvard. I was going to get that degree, and then the goal and the dream was to transfer to a power program. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's lighting up the ACC right now through the first month of the season.
He's becoming the #1 target for Mensah. Over the top, and incomplete, but a penalty flag thrown. You could see a grab of the jersey. Landon King, one of the big tight ends, was the target. And that's going to go against Cal.
It's going to be on the true freshman Aiden Manutai, and man coverage on the tight end.
Another Hawaii kid like Songa Polatele, who's making an impact in this program, but it's going to be 1st and goal Duke.
Pass interference, defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
Manutai on the right side of your screen, the true freshman safety we were just talking about, gets his eyes caught in the backfield just for a second, and when King wheels up on the go route, that's when Manutai reaches out because he knows he's been beaten.
1st and goal Duke inside the 7-yard line. Castle initially stopped. He's tough to bring down, though. Finally got wrestled backwards. Harrison Taggart, the linebacker, was kind of the first to get there.
Talking with Manny Diaz last night, he said that he knew running the football against this Cal defense was going to be a really big challenge. He talked about how big and physical the defensive front is for the Bears. And they showed it right there. There is a lot of big bodies inside, 320 pounds, 330 pounds. It is tough sledding running inside against this Cal defense.
So now it's 2nd and goal. Mensah hands off to Castle. Inside the 5, down close to the 2. TJ Bowler's one of those big bodies you're talking about. Wearing number 88 in the middle of that defense. 3rd and goal.
Well, and this is exactly how Cal wants to play. They're playing a too high safety look. They don't need to bring an extra safety down for the run game.
Castle. That should be a touchdown. They haven't signaled yet, but he got there, and it is a touchdown. Well, Duke is not going away tonight. Their offense, after a slow start, they have come to play.
Well, just as I was giving that Cal defensive front some credit, that right side of the offensive line for Duke, 77, Justin Pickett, and the right tackle, Brian Parker, do an excellent job of moving that line of scrimmage backwards and getting their offense in the end zone.
I guess there were bodies in the way. It took an awful long time for that signal to get made. It looked clear as day to me that he got in. Extra point is up and good. They got the call right, and he definitely got in. So the Blue Devils back down by a touchdown as we go back and forth with both offenses. All right, next Saturday, we've got number 10 Alabama coming off a really good win at home against Vanderbilt at number 19 Missouri. That game noon Eastern on ABC. And then the Red River rivalry game. Time is different this year, 3:30 Eastern, Oklahoma, Texas. And Texas is not going to be in the top 10 after what happened today in Gainesville. That's next Saturday on ABC, the all-new ESPN app. We saw some shots of the fans here in Berkeley, all types, including some of the old members of the Black Hole that were not that far from the old Oakland Coliseum. Raiders aren't here any longer. They're down in Vegas, but some of their fans have kind of semi-adopted Cal football.
What is that tab? The Black Bears section?
Yeah, Black Hole and the Bears, kind of a combo, the Black Bears. Sure, why not? 21-14, Cal has the lead. They're 4-1 because their young quarterback engineered a comeback last week with an amazing play.
Yeah, and the game's biggest moment, the poise that he showed. Watch, you see the two defensive backs. Watch the savviness to give them a pump fake, gets the DBs to bite up, then throws the perfect ball to tight end Mason Minnie, where only his guy can make a play on it. This is one of 100 examples of why this young man is so special. But that was in the game's biggest moment, fourth quarter comeback. And that is why they won on the road last week against Boston College.
Raphael starting to do some work on the ground. Breaking tackles out to midfield. Kendrick Raphael into Duke territory right away. We've seen the explosive plays in the pass game. That's 29 yards on the ground.
Well, Raphael has been fantastic the last couple weeks for this Cal offense, but you just have to wonder, with all the injuries for Duke at the linebacker position, how are they going to be able to slow down this run game tonight? Right now, it's all things Cal.
That feels like a real problem for the Blue Devils. Songa Politele in the pocket, going downfield, and it is intercepted. He threw it into double coverage. Intercepted one of those young Duke defenders, bringing it back into Cal territory. That's Andrew Pellicciata, the true freshman safety. I think he might have been the guy who missed the tackle on the previous play. He comes up with the interception.
What a play by Pellicciata, playing the free safety position. Read Songa Politele's eyes the entire way, and this is a football JKS should not let go. As soon as
After the interception and during the return, holding, intercepting team number 21, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So that's going to negate some of the return, but it doesn't negate the turnover.
No, first blemish of the night for Jaron Kiave Songa Politele. But you got to give a ton of credit to Pellicciata playing his eyes and making a huge play for the Blue Devils. Well, here's Andrew Pellicciata, the true freshman safety that makes the play. And what is trying to happen here is DeJesus is running a corner route. But watch how he gets forced to inside release. As soon as he inside releases, the young quarterback needs to get off of him. He has now been pushed off of his angle. This is an easy play for the free safety to make, get an interception. As great as JKS has been tonight, that is just one of those moments that the young signal caller has to learn the hard way.
Mensah play fake, and he delivers one to his tight end, and immediately Duke down into Cal territory. Landon King with the catch and run. So the Blue Devils offense is rolling right now.
What a beautiful throw by Mensah right over linebacker number 0, Uluwave. You see it just barely gets over his fingertips. I love the touch that Mensah puts on the football. That was an excellent throw.
33-yard pass. And now a handoff on first down. We talked to Darian Mensah yesterday. He was so excited to come here. You know, for the Blue Devils, this is a long, long way from home. They have hardly ever been to California in their football history. They don't come out this way. They're going to come out here a little more often now that Stanford and Cal are in the ACC. But it's 200 miles from his home. So he's got all kinds of friends and family who are here. And he's playing well. Duke's got the ball, a chance to tie this game in the second quarter. Mensah going toward the end zone and caught. Perfect pass and catch. Quayshawn Brown. And the Blue Devils are an extra point away from doing just that, tying this game. Well, that didn't take long after coming up with the turnover.
That was a great play design by Jonathan Brewer. He gets his fastest wide receiver in Quayshawn Brown lined up in man coverage on a strong safety for Cal. That is a matchup that Duke is going to win 100 out of 100 times. Great recognition by Darian Mensah.
Todd Polino, the place kicker for Duke. Extra point is up and good, and we get a tie ball game. 21-21.
Yeah, here's the matchup at your bottom of your screen. Like I said, this is Brown on Polidor. This is your fastest wide receiver trying to be covered in man coverage by a safety. He's never going to win this foot race. Like I said, that is an excellent play designed by Jonathan Brewer. Great recognition by the quarterback Mensah to take advantage of that matchup. And that is about as easy as a touchdown throw that you will find against this Cal defense.
Yeah, you watch Jonathan Brewer call plays with his quarterback. They're still getting to know each other, these two, developing chemistry, figuring out what Darian Mensah likes, what throws he likes to make. But you see, I mean, he's got that air raid background, Jonathan Brewer does. He's got the Art Briles stuff. He learned from Gus Malzahn. Yep. So took some stuff from that offense. You see elements of it.
Yeah, and he spent a lot of time with Rhett Lashley at multiple stops. Miami, they went up to SMU and UConn. Very successful young player, and it's what you were just saying. In the day and age of the transfer portal, they're only 5 games in working together. They're still finding their chemistry. They're still learning one another. But I'd say Jonathan Brewer and Darian Mensah have certainly found their chemistry, and they're really starting to roll here as we head into October.
Yeah, Darian's got the big smile on his face. 7 15-plus yard pass plays already for Duke in this first half. 7.
Well, they've certainly made a name as being an explosive offense in college football this season. They're 3rd in college football right now in plays of 30 yards or more, and a big reason is that young man right there, Darian Mensah, coming over from Tulane.
Cal gets the ball back. They hand it off. Raphael was swallowed up for a loss. I think Duke sort of could smell that one coming. Aaron Hall in to make the tackle. So now Cal, for the first time it feels like all game on offense, maybe on its heels a little bit.
You always wonder how a young quarterback will bounce back after a turnover. I'm really anxious to see what Sangu Polotele does here on this drive.
Tight end Mini went in motion. Duke looked like they jumped. So Sangu Polotele might have a free play. And that one is intercepted if it stands. Penalty flags thrown. I think he knew he had one to work with. I don't think that interception from Landon Callahan is going to stand.
Offside. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Pretty good play anyway.
That's Wesley Williams, the honorable mention All-ACC edge player a season ago for the Duke Blue Devils. Right over here on the right side of your screen, it's that hard clap by Sangu Politelli that gets him and the rest of the defensive line to jump. It's a free play. He knows he has it, which is why he just throws it up for grabs.
So Cal got away with one there, although you're right. He knew he could take a chance. Now being pressured, and he's going down. Wes Williams got there after committing the penalty. The sack for a big loss. Now the Blue Devils defense is starting to rise up.
We got Chopper and Williams working right here off the edge. That's a true freshman linebacker. And I just mentioned it. That's an honorable mention All-ACC Edge Player season ago. Little sack party in the backfield. And that's exactly what this Duke defense needed. Coming into this football game, they said it. We need to get this quarterback uncomfortable and off schedule. Excellent job on second down.
It's their 5th tackle for loss in the first half. They specialized in that last year under Manny Diaz. Now pressure again. Sangu Politelli is going to go down again. Well, it was Elliot Chopper once again, but this time VJ Anthony from the other side. And the Cal offensive line just got blown up on that series.
Well, Anthony and Williams, they're starting to heat up. This is just a 3-man rush. Watch both of these edge players and how they go to work here on third down. We mentioned it, just a 3-man rush, but just relentless effort trying to get after the quarterback. And that Duke defense really made a statement that series.
So now the first punt, and it takes a bounce in favor of Duke. Man, the Blue Devils are going to get great field position. So not a great punt. The Duke offense back on the field, and the momentum on Duke's side despite being so far away from home. There's Durham, and they had to travel 2,816 miles for a conference game to get to Berkeley. The good news for Darian Mensah, San Luis Obispo, beautiful sort of coastal town in Central California, just 230 miles away. He was very much looking forward to being here this weekend and getting to see his mom and his friends. And now he's putting on a show on the field. We got Jaquez Moore in the backfield. Mensah and the Duke offense inside the 40 to start the drive. Moore, big hole. Moore with a nice carry for a Duke first down. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Dave, you mentioned Mensah being a Cali kid through and through. He's even got the 805 area code tattooed on his arm. But with his family being here, he told us his mom actually rented a 60-passenger van to bring as many family members, friends, loved ones as they possibly could here.
Mensah going toward the end zone and incomplete. Trying to hit Cooper Barkate. A rare incompletion for Darian Mensah.
I love that story by Stormy. I just think it's so cool for Darian Mensah to grow up down the road a couple hours. I mean, when else is he going to get a play on the West Coast in front of so many friends and family? I just think that's so special. I can only imagine how much fun was had on that bus ride up here.
Mom chartered the bus. Now, that's a good mom.
Pretty special.
Get all those family members and friends up here to watch Darian play. Handoff on second down. This time Cal's defense was there to make the stop on Moore. So third down coming up. The whole feel of this game has changed. It was 21-7 Cal. The Bears were rolling, looking unstoppable on offense. And now it's the Duke offense that is taking control.
Yeah, they really are. But here's an obvious type passing situation here for the Blue Devils. Justin Wilcox and defensive coordinator Terrence Brown, they typically like to bring pressure in these situations to try to knock teams out of field goal range. We'll see if they bring it here.
Final 2.5 minutes of a very entertaining first half in Berkeley. Just a 4-man rush. Mensah throws, and that one's caught. Well, he found a hole, and Brown went up and made another great catch with defenders all around him. First and goal, Duke.
Wow, what a throw and what a catch. There was Cal defenders everywhere, and Mensah put that football where only Brown could make a play on it. What a throw and what a catch. That was so impressive.
Duke's going to let it go down to the 2-minute timeout. They are bouncing around, the Blue Devils are. Amazing how this game has changed. You said it. This was a heck of a toss.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Watch the location of the throw. He has to back shoulder him to keep him away from the safety. That is as good as it gets.
Want the latest on today's games? Just tell Siri, show me the college football scores.
Hey Siri, who took that video?
I was going to say, I kind of have to brag about my broadcast partner a little bit. That is from Dave Fleming's bike ride yesterday.
I rode over the Golden Gate Bridge, went up into the headlands, went downhill, filmed it, gave it to the crew.
So cool.
It was a beautiful day for a bike ride in the Bay Area. First and goal, Duke. 2-minute timeout in the first half. Handoff, Castle. Powerful run being pushed. And I don't think he got there. Very close, but stopped just short. And you wonder if Justin Wilcox is thinking about using timeouts. He's got 2 of them. He's not going to do it.
Boy, I would certainly think about it if I was Justin Wilcox. You have to assume with Duke on basically the inch-yard line, they are going to find a way to score here. And I want time to give my quarterback an opportunity to drive down the field before halftime and score some points.
The Duke's going to take plenty of time. They want to use clock. Second and goal. It's Castle again. Songapolatele hoping to have a chance. Duke gets the ball to start the second half, which is another important factor. Castle again pushing. Touchdown Duke. Wow. 3 and out on their first drive to start this game, and since then 4 straight touchdown drives. Really impressive.
I think the most impressive thing is right now how this Duke offensive line is really starting to win the line of scrimmage against a very big and physical Cal defensive front. You got to give a lot of credit to Anderson Castle. 6 foot, 215 pounds, really a downhill thumper, finding a way to get that football across the goal line.
That's his second touchdown rush of this first half. 1:10 on the clock with 2 timeouts. That is plenty of time for Cal getting the ball back. But what a turnaround in this game. 21 unanswered points for the Blue Devils. It was 21-7 Cal. And now Duke's up by a touchdown.
Listen, in a lot of ways, this first half, it's kind of felt like a heavyweight, old-school title fight. You know, Cal's offense came out and through the first couple punches got some points on the board. We talked about that 3 and out for Duke's offense. But then they got the other guy fighting back, and then Darian Mensah threw his punches. And right now, this Duke offense, they are absolutely on fire. Cal needs to go into the locker room at halftime and make some adjustments, find a way to get Mensah off schedule and uncomfortable, because right now he is dialed in and playing a fantastic football game.
He really is. Enjoying his homecoming back to California. With 1:10 to go. Cal is getting the ball back here. Duke's defense came to life on that last possession, really the last 2 possessions.
Well, don't forget, Duke gets the football to start the third quarter. So this is a really critical drive for Cal. They have to find a way to come away with points or at least melt the clock so that Duke doesn't get any more opportunities here in the first half.
Fair catch. So Cal will start at the 25. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report. Incredible down at the Rose Bowl what happened today. Penn State, I didn't see that coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Arch Manning, he did get swamped down in Gainesville by the Gators. The Sunshine State Showdown, which got interesting late but was a dominant performance by Miami for most of that game. And much more on our Lexus halftime report. So the Cal offense back on the field. And again, pressured. I mean, right away, that was a 4-man rush, and Duke got right into the face of the young quarterback to force the incompletion.
Well, that's been a big question this season for this Cal offensive line, is their offensive tackle play. Right now, you have Frederick Williams in the game and Leon Bell. And these last couple series, got to give a lot of credit to Wesley Williams on the edge and Vincent Anthony. They are getting after this Cal offensive line.
These are big plays. Duke's got 3 timeouts.
Yep.
That incompletion meant they didn't have to use one. 1:06 on the clock. Songapolatele is going to dump it short, and it's dropped. Raphael had it and dropped it. And so now it's 3rd and 10 with 1:01.
Such a critical error by Raphael. He's really played a great first half, but by dropping that football, the clock does not tick. And right now, Duke, they're looking at an incredible opportunity to get the football back and plenty of time to go get some points unless Cal can find a way to convert here on 3rd down.
Cal is, I think they're sensing they've got a great opportunity here. Big play for the Bears, 3rd and 10.
Duke showing pressure.
Pressure comes, and Sangapolatele is on the run. He goes down. Elliott Shopper's having a big first half with all the injuries. The true freshman gets a sack, and now Duke is going to call a timeout. That's a 15-yard loss. The whole game is flipped. The Blue Devils are getting the ball back.
Well, we wondered how the backup linebackers would play for Duke. Here's Rivers, the corner. He's going to come off of the edge. And then this is Shopper coming all the way across the field. And Elliott Shopper, a Max Preps high school All-American a season ago, is stepping in for the injured Trey Freeman and Nick Morris, and he is playing a lights-out second quarter. And right now, this Cal offense, they are just stuck in neutral. They can't get anything going. And you have to give this Duke defense credit. They are starting to affect Jaren Kiave, Sangapolatele, and they have completely flipped the script of this football game.
Duke has been about as good as any team in the country over the last few weeks, and maybe even going back to late last year, of scoring late first half situations. They've already had a touchdown late in this first half. They have a chance for another one with 56 seconds on the clock, and Brown is standing at midfield. The punt is a high one and sending Brown back. It's going to bounce, and that's a good punt from Cal's perspective inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Well, the Taco Bell Liv Mas student section, it was bouncing early in this game. Only one student section can claim the title of Liv Mas Student Section of the Year, who will take home the trophy this year. It was a year ago, almost exactly, that game day was here for the first time ever, and the Cal fans showed out big time. They're here. I mean, this is an impressive turnout tonight, but they're feeling nervous right now.
Yeah, certainly, and situational football will win or lose you games. And right now, the way that Duke scored a series ago, defense goes out, 3 and out, gets you the football here. And Duke with the ball to start the second half. This is a massive opportunity for the Blue Devils.
They'll dump it short, and the freshman running back, who's so hard to bring down. It took 2 or 3 different Cal defenders to get Shepard to the turf. I mean, the last drive, to your point, for Cal took 23 seconds.
And Duke just needs to get inside the 40-yard line to be in field goal range.
Mensah in the pocket, now flushed out of the pocket. He's going to throw. He's got Brown open again, and he'll duck out of bounds inside the Cal 40.
Well, Cal loses containment on the edge. You got to cage in Mensah, because if you let him outside of the pocket, that is where he is the most dangerous. He's an athletic quarterback, very accurate outside the pocket. That was very poor containment by Jaden Wayne, the defensive end, who's filling in for the injured Ryan McCullough.
Duke's offense right now is looking unstoppable. 20 seconds on the clock.
Still 2 timeouts. They can work the entire field.
Mensah in the pocket, and he's got all the time in the world. That's Brown again with another catch. Took a hit, held on inside the 20. The clock stops as they get ready to set the first down mark, and we'll see. Now Duke smartly, I think, will use one of those 2 timeouts. 13 seconds to go. They're down to the 18.
Their seconds. 30 seconds.
We keep talking about situational football, and I love this play call. Watch how Brown works all the way across this zone defense. There's only a 3-man rush by this Cal defensive front. So the Duke gives Mensah plenty of time to hold on to this football, because this is a ball holder type play. It takes a while for this play to develop. But Brown works his way across the field. Mensah puts it exactly where he needs to, over the linebacker and safety. This is a really impressive sequence by Duke's offense and defense combined, and they're knocking on the door for more points here late in the second quarter.
Just a wild first half with all the fireworks from the Cal offense to start this game, but it's been the Blue Devils who have taken control and really can take firm control now. With 13 seconds and 1 timeout, already in field goal range, they're thinking touchdown. Mensah, four-man rush, little pump fake, going toward the end zone, and incomplete. Masses was there with the coverage. Intended for Barkate. 8 seconds to go.
Trying to work a little double move on Zeke Masses out there. That's been a really good matchup tonight. Masses and Barkate. That is good on good out there. Two really talented players. Barkate tried to run a double move. Masses didn't bite on it.
So now you got, I guess, one last shot to go toward the end zone.
You got to be really careful here. Whatever you do, if you're Mensah, you have to make a quick decision because you have 3 points in your back pocket right now. You have a timeout, but you can't afford to scramble or hold on to the football. You have to make a very quick decision.
Now Cal's going to use a timeout. Justin Wilcox will take a look at what
their second.
Duke's offense looked like and use his second timeout of the half. Now, defensive-minded head coach and a very sound Cal defense has been torched in this first half.
Yeah, and Justin Wilcox, he has a really big decision to make here because if Duke scores a touchdown, just because they get the football to start the second half, they have a chance to put this football game almost out of reach, right? So Wilcox has to make a decision right now. Do I bring pressure and try to knock Duke back and potentially get them out of field goal range, or do I play soft zone coverage here, keep everything in front of me, and live with possibly giving up a field goal before the half?
Duke's had 195 yards of offense in this quarter. That's a big quarter. And that's the guy who's engineered it, the redshirt sophomore quarterback, Darian Mensah. You see why he was so highly regarded in the portal. A young Cal quarterback can only watch from the sideline as his offense stalled out late in this quarter. Blue Devils 2nd and 10, 8 seconds to go. One timeout already in field goal range. Man in motion. Mensah hands it off. Shepard broke one tackle. He's got to get down. He does. I mean, you can't blame a kid for fighting hard for extra yards, but that almost ended the half.
It did, but he did a good job. He eventually got down. Duke was able to take a timeout. I mean, that is the way they handled that whole kind of last 3-4 minutes of the half, getting a touchdown, getting a 3-and-out stop, and now getting down into field goal range. I mean, that is situational football at its finest by Manny Diaz and his ball club.
So field goals have not been automatic for Duke this year. Todd Polino, and even from this distance, this would be a 30-yarder. You figure there's not much of a problem here. Shorter than McAfee's kicking contest. And Cal jumped off sides. Now maybe the Bears are arguing that somebody moved, but I don't think they're winning that argument.
Offside. Defense number 4 in the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
All right, so it makes it
third down.
Makes it a closer field goal try. You can't ask Herbstreit to come out and throw it through the goal post.
I was just going to say, are they allowed to do that?
No, you got to kick it through in a real game.
And they still wrote the check. That was a big deal this morning with McAfee and Herbstreit. That was pretty cool.
And now what? Being told to wait. All right, now we can play. Polino will get all lined up. Final play of the first half. Good snap and hold and a good kick for Polino and Duke. What a finish to the half for the Blue Devils.
Unbelievable. Tremendous job of Duke responding when the football game did not start well for them after a long trip east to west. But that second quarter was all Blue Devils, and Cal needs to go into the locker room at halftime, make some adjustments, find a way to get back in this football game because Darian Mensah is on fire right now.
24 consecutive points for Duke to finish out the first half after Cal was really dominating this game early. So a 10-point lead for Duke when it didn't look like that was going to be the case in the first quarter. All right, so we will go to studio for our halftime show after this short break from Berkeley. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Old Spice. You're watching the ACC on ESPN on a beautiful Northern California night. We get ready to start the second half. And what a wild first half we had. The Duke Blue Devils a long way from home. They roared from behind, and they lead 31-21. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler back with you. I mean, we expect a really thrilling second half. We had all kinds of offensive fireworks, but man, did the Blue Devils flip this game around.
A lot of excitement in the first half, but you're right, and I think you really need to give credit to that Duke offense and defensive line. It's the big fellas in the trenches that kind of said, hey, listen, enough's enough. We're going to take over this football game. And this is a Duke offense led by Darian Mensah that scored 24 unanswered. So as good as the offense was there in the first half, you also have to give a lot of credit to the defense. Songa Politelli came out hot early for Cal, throwing the football around the yard, scoring points, and then that defensive front for the Blue Devils started to take the game over late in the second quarter.
24 unanswered points from Duke, and they get the ball to start the third quarter. So big-time pressure on Cal to get their defense right. They're going to kick it short, very short, to the 20-yard line. And the return team for the Blue Devils outside the 30 and close to the 35-yard line. Sort of what you were talking about, Brock. Time now for the Protection Spotlight presented by Prudential.
Well, for any offense or quarterback to have success, it takes the 5 big fellas up front to give them time, and that's exactly what you're going to see here. Well over 3 seconds to push the football down the throat. You see the tight window that Mensah is able to throw it into to Brown, makes a great catch. And then it's that Duke front 7. It's the defensive line. It's the linebackers. 31 right there. The true freshman, Elliott Shopper. I thought he played an excellent first half coming off the bench after a couple starting linebackers went down.
Down 2 linebackers. Really impressive adjustments. A handoff to the freshman Nate Shepard. They got some good young talent on this Duke roster, but the Cal defense, a tackle for loss on the first play of the second half.
Well, and what a massive series this is for really both units out there right now. Duke has an opportunity to somewhat put this football game out of reach. They have all the momentum. The 24 unanswered, we've already talked about that, but for Cal, they have to find a way to get Mensah off schedule and get this football back to their offense.
2nd and 11. Brown had a big first half. He went in motion. They'll give it to Shepard again, and he got hit across the original line of scrimmage, so maybe he got 3 to set up 3rd down.
This is where Cal wants to be. They want to put this Duke offense into a 3rd and obvious passing situation. There are 3 elite pass rushers down there on the field right now. They subbed out an extra defensive tackle, so they're trying to bring the pass rush here. And with Ryan McCullough out for the season, the star edge player for Cal, can they create a pass rush without him when they got to have it right here?
3rd down and 8. You got Bush standing up along the line. Pocket started to collapse. Mensah incomplete. Into coverage there. And that's a good start to the half for Cal. The Bears defense needed that.
That was a big-time sequence by this Cal defense. Great coverage down the field by Cam Sidney. And you mentioned it, Flem. T.J. Bush, number 3, the big edge player, 6'3", 265 pounds, lined him up right over the center. They had 4 pass rushers out there on that 3rd down. That is exactly what this Cal football team needed.
And right away, exactly what you were talking about coming out of halftime. The line of scrimmage had been so dominated by Duke in that second quarter. Not on that series. And now the punt team and a near block. That was a good job by the punter to get it off. DeJesus and a penalty flag thrown. So I think Cal's going to be in very poor field position here. Great open field tackle by Jaden Moore. Plus a penalty which probably is against the Bears.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 35. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
All right, so the Cal offense coming back on the field. Let's go down on the sideline to Stormy Buonantony.
Dave, talking to Manny Diaz at the break, he said despite the momentum that they built at the end of the half, they need to treat this like it is a 0-0 game. He said this will be mental toughness throughout, especially with these two really great quarterbacks going head-to-head. I asked him about JKS specifically and how they were able to get him off his spot those last couple drives. He said they've really had to reinvent their defense with all of these linebackers unavailable. He thinks it took them a little bit of time to settle in, and he wants to bring more pressure and continue to get him to the ground if they can.
Good points and good concentration by Stormy. The referee tried to interrupt her as she was giving us all that info. She didn't skip a beat, and it is impressive. I mean, you sort of think about what she's talking about with Manny Diaz about trying to reinvent your defense on the fly in the middle of a game, move players around different positions, change assignments. That can't be easy.
No, it certainly isn't. But you know what helps is when you have a true freshman in Elliott Shopper who has stepped up big time for this Duke defense, number 31.
Now across the first down mark out to the 20, Kendrick Raphael, first down Bears.
You know, I'm sure early on in this football game, Manny Diaz along with defensive coordinator Jonathan Packey were sitting there saying, okay, what do we do? We're losing linebackers left and right. But Elliott Shopper has really stepped up, as has Luke Mergott as well. Both those two playing really well inside tonight for the Blue Devils.
Songa Polatele toss left side, and good pursuit from the Duke defense. Man, they read that play all the way. Vincent Anthony and many others were there to tackle Raphael for a loss of a yard.
You know, I think at some point here early in this drive, Bryan Harsin really needs to try to get this Blue Devils front seven running sideline to sideline. And what I mean by that, speed sweeps, quick screens, things like that, because this defensive line is really starting to tee off. You need to find a way to wear them down and get them running side to side.
Yeah, you see those numbers too. You need your young quarterback to build up some confidence again. 0 for his last 4, including an interception. Plus he's been sacked 3 times. That one was caught. Oh my goodness, what a catch by Grizel. Well, that was incredible. That ball looked like it was going to hit the turf. See if Cal goes fast.
On the field, it's a completed pass.
What do we think?
Yeah, that touches the turf.
They're going to stop it. Cal tried to get to the line and go fast, but I think they're going to review this play.
Great effort by Tron Grizel, but you can see the football touch the turf. This is going to be ruled an incomplete pass.
I mean, it was still close. Those are some strong hands. He grabbed almost like the ends of the football and tried to yank it up, but I think you're right. Watch it there. That looks to me like it's hitting the turf before he really has firm control of that ball.
That's right, Flem. You can see how the football tilts as it goes down and touches the turf, and then he makes control of the catch. Great effort by Tron Grizel, nevertheless, but I think this one's coming back.
So our ACC crew, replay officials, in conjunction with the referee, trying to make that determination. Ruling on the field was a completed pass. And if it's incomplete, then Cal's going to face an immediate 3rd down here on their first drive of the second half. All that offensive momentum seems like a long time ago.
It really is, and you just have to give credit where credit's due, and that goes to the Duke defense, and it really starts with those guys up front. I think Wesley Williams, Aaron Hall, Josiah Green, Vincent Anthony, they have done a tremendous job of becoming disruptive up front, getting after the Cal offensive line. And in return, you see JKS at the quarterback position. He's just not comfortable right now, and he's out of rhythm. And you mentioned that. Bryan Harsin has to find a way to get this young quarterback back in rhythm.
After further review, the pass was incomplete. 3rd down.
So they move the ball back. It's 3rd and 11, and Cal gets lined up quickly. They watch the officials move the ball backwards, so they came out ready to go. There is the offensive coordinator for Cal, looking for something to spark this offense again. They were unstoppable in the first quarter. First 3 drives all went for touchdowns. Pressure coming. Songa Polatele scrambling, looking downfield. He'll throw, and he whistles one in there to his tight end, Minnie, for a first down and more. Mason Minnie, who had the big catch at the end of the game last week, the game-winning catch for a much-needed Cal first down.
I'll tell you what, Mason Minnie keeps coming up so big for this Cal offense. Got to give a lot of credit to Sangu Politelli, staying calm in the pocket. There was early pressure, keeps his eyes down the field as he gets outside. And there's old Mr. Reliable, Mason Minnie, picking up another first down when it's desperately needed by this Cal offense.
He's turning into a big-time playmaker at that tight end spot. That was 28 yards for the Bears. Now Sangu Politelli, quick release to Jesus, got tackled immediately. Just a nice open field tackle. One of those young linebackers you were just spotlighting, Luke Murgott. There's Mason Minnie.
And what a find. You have to give a lot of credit to Justin Wilcox. I think he lost so much talent in the transfer portal, and you're kind of sitting there in the winter and you're saying, gosh, how good is this Cal football team going to be? But guys like Mason Minnie coming in, transferring in from Idaho, what a find by Justin Wilcox, and he's been excellent this year.
Second down and long, little pump fake. Now the throw is going to be intercepted. He did not see Chandler Rivers, who was just waiting for that one. And the second interception of the night for the Duke defense.
It's the All-American corner. Chandler Rivers did an excellent job of baiting the quarterback into this throw. Rivers is showing that he's covering to Jesus. JKS thinks he can get the football over him. Rivers falls off late and makes the young quarterback pay.
Well, the second interception of the night for the Duke defense. So the Blue Devils offense back on the field. 31-21, 10:07 to go, third quarter. And Darian Mensah, the quarterback for the Blue Devils, takes a shotgun snap, will throw a screen pass, and well defended by Cal. Brown took a big hit right at the line of scrimmage.
That was a really great tackle by Drew Polidor coming up from his safety position. The transfer from Montana State came in and blew up that screen.
You and I watched him play in the FCS championship game last year. Part of a really entertaining championship game that night in Frisco, Texas.
Excellent player. Big shoes to fill with Isaiah Crosby going down in the secondary for Cal. Great tackle.
Both teams missing some key players on the defensive side of the ball. Shepard, the freshman running back, he hit the hole quickly, but the hole got plugged up right away. Manitai, the young freshman safety, came up in run support, so third down right away for the Blue Devils.
And once again, a critical third down. This Cal defense doing everything they can to keep their offense in the game. We'll see if they can come up with another big stop. Big substitution by this Cal defensive front, getting 4 pass rushers in the game right now.
So Cade Uluave, the star linebacker, has been relatively quiet tonight for Cal, wearing number 0.
Uluave on the top of your screen at the defensive end position.
Drops back into coverage. Mensah throws, and it was almost intercepted by Uluave. So he looked like he was going to rush. He dropped back into coverage. He almost picked it off.
What a play that would have been by Uluave. The simulated pressure, like I said, he was at a defensive end position, showing that he's going to rush, and then at the snap of the football, runs back into coverage. Mensah never sees him. And is just an inch away from making a game-changing play for the Cal Bears.
You know, if he could have gotten both hands on that ball and squeezed it, he might have had a chance to take it the whole way. Punt, fair catch. De Jesus makes it inside the 15-yard line. So the Cal offense, they've slowed up since a very quick start. The Bears trying to roar back on offense, down 10. All right, back here in Berkeley, and it is time for us to honor those who serve. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. A shot on the sideline of Jaden Moore. We've called his name a couple times tonight on special teams. He's made some good special teams plays. Jaden's family so intertwined with military service to our country. His dad, Percy, served in the Marines for 33 years. His sister, Skylar, is in the ROTC program at Duke, along with Jaden. His mom, Janice, served in the Navy for 6 years herself. Now that's a family who served.
Thank you
to the Moores.
Thank you to the Moores and all the other brave men and women out there that keep us safe. Thank you.
First down, Cal getting the ball back. The Cal offense is just amazing what has happened to Cal's offense. Raphael with the carry. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. That's how they started the game. Since then, interception, punt, punt, interception.
Hasn't been easy lately for this Cal offense. It's up to Brian Harsin to dig deep, look at his call sheet, get into his bag of tricks, and find a way to get his quarterback and offense back into rhythm on this drive.
Jordan King came in motion. Second down and 8. Sangapolatele pressured immediately, and he tried to get away. As he was going to the ground, he flung it, and I think that is going to count as an incomplete pass, at least for the moment. I might talk about this one. That would save some lost yardage. Manny Diaz is saying intentional grounding. There was a receiver kind of in the neighborhood of where he flung the ball.
I'm with Manny Diaz. I think this is going to be, if it's not a sack, this is going to be an intentional grounding.
I thought Tron Grizel maybe was in the vicinity.
Definitely is in the vicinity. We'll see if the ref agrees with it. It's close.
Question is also, was he just out and out down before he threw the ball?
Well, is it a sack? If that knee's up, let's keep an eye on his knee as he's going down to the ground. Aaron Hall's trying to bring him down.
I think he's down.
The previous play is under further review to verify if the quarterback's knee was down prior to the ball being passed.
Down. I think the ball's still in his hand.
Yeah, I agree with you, Flem. And you got to credit big 99 Aaron Hall, 6'4", 290 pounds. Two-time team captain for the Blue Devils. Very disruptive inside, just winning at the point of attack and continuing that disruption up front for the Blue Devils.
I mean, it doesn't look to me, I'll defer to you. I think he's definitely down. That's going to be a sack. But it doesn't look to me like they're doing anything super exotic or fancy. They're just whipping Cal on the line of scrimmage.
You're exactly right, Flem. There's been a few times tonight where Duke has gotten to Sangapolatele by bringing maybe a 5th or 6th rusher, but really these last couple times that JKS has been hit or brought down for a sack, it's just been a 4-man rush.
And that last place, like so many others, where almost no time. Like, as soon as he gets the snap in the pocket is disintegrating.
Yeah, I really think Brian Harsin needs to really look into his screen game right now. How can I get this football out of my young quarterback's hand quickly to where we can get guaranteed completions and an opportunity to start getting some positive yards? Because right now this Duke defensive line is really beating up the Cal offensive line and taking over the game, and JKS just has no answers.
So there's a couple of things why this might be taking a little longer than expected, because you do then have to get the clock correct. You have to get the spot of the ball correct, the down coming up correct. So there's a lot to actually sort through.
After further review, the quarterback's knee was down prior to passing the ball. Third down at the 12-yard line.
Okay. So that'll make it 3rd and about 13.
Yeah, and this is a tough spot. You don't have a lot of calls on your call sheet for this down and distance. But Cal, they need to try to find a way to pick this up. They're down 10 points midway through the 3rd quarter. If I'm Brian Harsin, I'm going to chip both edges, one with a tight end, the other with a running back, to try to give some extra time for my quarterback to deliver the football down the field.
Yeah, that graphic just so illustrates what we've been talking about. Sangapolatele in the pocket, and he'll be sacked again. Now that time he had a little more time, just had nowhere to go with the ball. Wesley Williams with the sack, and the Duke defense, especially on the line, has taken over this game.
Well, you said it, Flem. That's a coverage sack. There is just absolutely nowhere to go with this football. Here's Wesley Williams, and you're going to see him. It's only a 3-man rush, but because JKS has nowhere to go with the football, he tries to step up and create something with his legs, runs right into that sack, but the relentless effort by Williams gets this Duke defense off the field.
4th and 16, and another punt for Cal. This one returnable. Brown gets hit right at midfield, but that'll be good field position for the Blue Devils offense. First drive for the Blue Devils stalled out. Now they've had some issues here in the second half. Both offenses have. They got explosive, especially in the second quarter. So we've seen adjustments and adjustments to adjustments as this game has gone on.
Listen, I tell you what, you got to give Manny Diaz and his staff and players a ton of credit. Outside of that first drive tonight, if you go back a week ago to the Syracuse game and you get rid of the first series tonight, this is a Duke team playing in all three phases of the game at a really high level.
Really high level. I'm with you. Castle gets the carry, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. Like, they have some upside, Duke does, if they play like this.
Yes, they do. And when you talk about it in a bigger picture, it is a wide open ACC race. Miami's at the top, but then there's this clump of teams. Who's going to make the next run to hopefully play for a conference championship in Charlotte? And I think Duke has as good of a chance as anybody.
They've been improved to 3-0 in conference play with a win tonight. A quick hitter out to Brown with that burst of speed into Cal territory, down to the 45-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 5.
We keep saying it, but it's true. Another critical 3rd down here. We'll see if Cal's defense is able to bow up one more time, get the football back to their offense. You got to wonder, though, now that you're in plus territory for Duke, is this 4-down territory? If it is, expect Duke to potentially run the football here to make it much more manageable on 4th down if they don't pick it up.
3rd down, Mensah rolling right, still rolling, and he'll take the sack, and a huge loss. Luke Farrelly got there, and Mensah, really maybe one of the few mistakes he's made in this game. He did not throw the ball away.
Mistake by a young quarterback. You got to save the field position there. Your coach might want to go for it on 4th down, but now you can't. Here's Farrelly, the other great linebacker, along with Uluave for the Cal Bears. You're going to see he's initially in coverage, but he does a great job of triggering when he sees Mensah get outside the pocket, and that is another big-time play by this Cal defense.
Indeed. So the Cal D is doing their part. It's the offense that just is having so many problems now. DeJesus lets that one bounce, and I think it crossed that plane. I think. Now a penalty flag, and they will say touchback. There's a penalty flag out in the field of play, a long way from the goal line. That was almost a great punt by Cade Reynoldson. .456 to go in the 3rd quarter. This is important, whether it's going to be Cal ball with a little breathing room or a lot less with a struggling Bears offense.
There's no foul on the play for a hold on Duke the kicking team.
Okay. That clears that up. No foul on the play. 31-21. Cal getting the ball back right after this. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Old Spice here in Berkeley. 31-21 Duke and Cal now conference rivals for the 2nd year, but the first time playing as ACC rivals. They only met back in 1962 and 1963. So it's been a long time since these two teams played a football game against one another. Last time they went head-to-head, we finished with a tie, 22-22, and nobody went home happy. Who likes a tie?
You still think you can get a program for 50 cents?
I don't think so. The Bears needing something on offense, and maybe the ground game can get them going. Kendrick Raphael, when they've given him a chance, he's been pretty successful.
That's right, Flem. When a young quarterback and an offensive line are struggling, what helps them out? Guaranteed quick completions and a good, healthy run game. I'd really like to see Brian Harsin try to get this ground game going for the Bears here on this series.
After a 5-yard run on 1st down, Cal does not do much up-tempo either, even when they get to the line quickly. They're going to hand it off again. Raphael this time trying to run right, and he'll get stopped after a gain of 2. I mean, every yard right now is difficult. That's Josiah Green, another Ivy League transfer. He came from Dartmouth.
Yeah, really nice play inside by Green, using his hands, getting off the block to force a 3rd and 3 here for Cal. Cal desperately needs it. Keep an eye at the top of your screen. Tight end Mason Minnie, 85. He's kind of been the go-to guy in these situations.
Cal getting organized. Got plenty of time on the play clock. Songa Polatele slings it in there to Minnie, the tight end, and with that extra fight, he does get the 1st down.
Really good job of Minnie sitting down in zone. So many times you'll see young players run through a zone and then the quarterback has nowhere to go with the football. JKS did a great job of navigating the pocket, getting it down to his young tight end.
Duke continues to dominate, I think, up front. Raphael will get another carry, and he gets maybe a yard on first down. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, guys, right tackle Leon Bell was certainly challenged by his offensive line coach Famika Anai on the sideline coming out for this drive. He said, we need you to win your one-on-one matchups. It's as simple as that. And then handed him the iPad, said they're trying to get you out wide and cut you inside. You're better than that. You know what to do. Holding up strong here so far to get this drive going.
Mississippi State transfer. He kind of got pushed backwards on that play. Now a completion and a penalty flag thrown back near the quarterback. It might be against Bell, or it might be a roughing the passer. I'm not sure.
Holding. Offense number 55.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. Second down.
So it's the guy Stormy was just talking about.
Yeah, that's him, Leon Bell, trying to slow down Kobe Smith, 18. Here's Bell. And this is just an easy call for the officials. Anytime you get your hands outside the shoulders and around the frame and then you see the hand around the neck, it just makes it too easy for the officials to call that.
I mean, at least based on the roster, Leon Bell's 6'8", 330. Kobe Smith is 220 pounds. Now, maybe he's a little bigger than that.
Just poor technique.
Exactly. You lose that size advantage. Sidearm throw and dropped. Dropped by L.J. Johnson. Songa Polatele. That was kind of a nifty little throw there, and Johnson just dropped it.
Great job by JKS changing his arm angle to get that football out, but here comes the drops again. We talked about this earlier. It's hurt Cal all season long. That was going to give them an opportunity to make this a third and manageable type situation. Not a lot of calls on your play sheet for 3rd and 19.
That's 2 big drops already in this third quarter for Cal receivers.
JKS cannot make a bad series worse. He needs to be smart with the football here and allow his punter to change the field position.
Pressure, I mean, it was a 2-man rush, and it got to Songa Polatele. Throws it across the middle. Johnson catches, but is tackled short. Murgat got him to the turf, so now 4th down, and I'm sure that punt team will be coming out. That was a 2-man rush.
Well, the offense was hesitating for a second, but yeah, back to it. Yeah, 2-man rush. When you drop 9 guys into coverage, there's just going to be nowhere to go with the football. But when it's 3rd and 19, you're allowed to play coverage like that. Cal just getting behind the sticks, and you can't play football in that position. Give a lot of credit to this Duke defense. They've been relentless and disruptive really pretty much since the get-go.
Maybe Wes Williams again. I mean, a 2-man rush, and they still affected the quarterback. Now a much better punt here. And Kern will pin Duke very deep. Beautifully done. That is about as good as you can do it. All the way inside the 5-yard line. Well, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, not that many hours from now, actually, on ESPN, you can catch NFL Countdown. Adam Schefter, the latest on the Ravens playing without Lamar Jackson. That's a big story. All access with Jonathan Taylor. Randy's best catches of the week in You Got Mossed. And on Monday, a game that on paper, maybe at the beginning of the year, didn't look that enticing. It's a really good game. The Jaguars are playing well. The Chiefs have to go down to Jacksonville on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes. You got Peyton and Eli on ESPN2 for Monday Night Football. Raiders are not involved, but it's still a game that's going to be worth watching. That was a 60-yard punt, by the way, with no return. That's good special teams play by Cal. And a short run from Shepard.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, there's Noel Williams, former cornerback here. He was an All-American a season ago, led the country with 7 interceptions last year. Just an excellent corner for the Cal Bears and doing his thing at the next level. Off to a great start with his NFL career, and he'll be a lot of fun to watch on Monday night.
Yeah, Craig Woodson, who came by Cal recently, visited the team. He's starting as a young player for the Patriots in the NFL. Mensah throws, and that one is caught. Wow, what a nice catch by Andrell Anthony right at the marker. That's going to be a first down, Duke.
That's a big-time throw and catch when you're backed up as an offense. Your back's against the wall. It's not a comfortable feeling. Mensah putting the football exactly where it needed to be.
So out to the 15, some breathing room, play fake, and a throw across the middle. Another contested catch and a good throw for another first down. That's Cooper Barkade.
I want you to see what the play action does to the Cal linebackers. Watch how they step up.
I think is going to be the final play of the quarter. Manny Diaz is going to be content to let the clock wind down. I mean, the point you were making is a good one about the play flip fake just set up.
It's a very simple thing. It's the RPO offense. You can either hand that football off, but if the linebackers are going to step up hard, you're going to throw a slant right behind their ear, and Darian Mensah has just read that so well all night long.
All that offense we had in the first half. How many points did we have in the third quarter?
Zero.
Zero.
Goose egg.
0 for Cal, 0 for Duke. We got a good ball game, though, going to the fourth quarter in Berkeley. 31-21, Blue Devils lead. Well, high up on Grizzly Peak, looking down at Berkeley, at Oakland, the Bay Bridge, all the way across the bay to San Francisco. And we start the fourth quarter on a beautiful Northern California night. 31-21, Duke has the lead. They were down 21-7. Cal has not scored since early in the second quarter. The Duke defense has been dominating. It's the Duke offense that is on the field to start the quarter. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Buonantony. Defenses controlled the third quarter really on both sides. Darian Mensah has cooled off some. Play fake. Looking down the field and throws. That pass is caught. Found the opening in the defense. Andrell Anthony, his second catch on this drive. That's 15 yards.
Anthony having a nice night, and that is a great layered throw by Mensah to the second level. I love the touch that he puts on this football. Excellent throw down the field.
They'll play fake it again, and almost a completion that might have gone for a big gain, almost an interception. There's a lot that could have happened on that play.
Yeah, that was a dangerous throw to the outside, trying to set up a little tunnel screen outside of the tight end, Jake Taylor. The football just got away from Mensah. Really his first errant throw of the night.
Second half, much more modest numbers. He was on fire, especially in the second quarter. This is a drive for Duke that started at the 4-yard line. They're already out to the 40. Look at that formation on the left side there. 3 receivers all lined up. Mensah's going to throw to the back one of those, and he completes the pass. That's Samir Hagans, but an open field tackle means it's third down and about 7 coming up.
That's a nice play by the linebacker Luke Farrelly, just diagnosing what this Duke offense is trying to do. A little inside tunnel screen, and here we go again. Here's the chess match. Right now, Cal's defense, they've been winning on third down. Can Darian Mensah find a way to keep this drive alive and pick up a fresh set of downs?
Haven't converted one in the second half. Cal shows some pressure. They rush 4. Mensah steps up. He'll throw on the run. Tipped and incomplete. It was tipped once, hung up in the air, and then Barkade actually had a chance on the deflection, but it's fourth down.
I tell you what, this is an elite performance right now on third downs by this Cal defense. They've been faced with a number of them here in the second half, and they just keep getting off of the field. The question is, can the Cal offense just get something going? Is it in the run game? Is it an explosive? Do they have to find a trick play? But the defense keeps putting them in great position.
Duke offense did get some field position with that drive. DeJesus, no fair catch, makes the first man miss. Trying to get to the outside. Save some field position there, but the Cal offense, the turnovers have been an issue for the young quarterback.
They really have. It was such a hot start early in the night for Sangu Politele, and then a couple interceptions derailed him. Here, DeJesus ducks inside. This is a pass that JKS needs to ignore. As soon as a receiver releases inside with a deep free safety like that, you just got to move away from it. But a great play by Pelachata the true freshman safety getting the interception, and then the All-American corner, Chandler Rivers, just a savvy veteran play. He's in man coverage on DeJesus, but he reads the quarterback's eyes. He falls off late and makes another game-changing play for the Blue Devils.
Play fake on first down for Cal. Songa Politele. The running game is really not a big part of his game, and Elliot Shopper, who's made an impact, gets him to the ground.
This Duke defense has just been relentless the last 2 games, and if you count this one, the first 3 games of the season, only 1 takeaway. The previous 2, 7, and tonight there's another 2. I mean, so they have really turned up the heat on offenses once they got into ACC play, and this is one of the best defenses in the country right now at taking the football away.
That slant low to DeJesus, incomplete. The Cal offense right now can't get a first down. The Bears have just stalled out almost entirely.
Can't get a first down, can't get a completion. There's just no rhythm with this offense right now. It's moments like this where you have to go to your most reliable players. And if I'm JKS, I'm going to try to find number 7, Tron Grizel. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen. He's the veteran presence in the wide receiver room. He's won a ton of 50-50 balls this year.
He'll throw to Grizel, who turns it upfield but can't get away. That was Robinson with the tackle, so that's exactly where the young quarterback went. But the Duke defense gets the stop, and despite a little hesitation, that punt unit is coming right back out, and the Bears fans are unhappy about it.
I get it. You're frustrated. It was such an exciting start to the game by your offense, but this is the right call. It's a 2-possession game. There's still over 12 minutes to play, and the way this Cal defense is playing, you punt the football deep, you play the field position game right now.
Kern is going to boot a low one. This time Brown will run up and catch it, so not nearly as good in terms of the field position result from the punt team. The Duke offense back on the field. We're stuck in neutral. It's 31-21.
ESPN College Football is presented by Old Spice. Men have skin too.
Well, if you're down on Telegraph Ave here in Berkeley, might as well stop by Tacos Sinaloa. Very famous and beloved local spot. You can get a burrito that you can't fit in your mouth. Oh my goodness. Or you can just get what they're known for, the tacos, and be a little more polite.
I'll tell you what, I did a little personal market research today, and their tacos are fantastic.
Okay, good job by you. Duke gets the ball back. You know who else likes Tacos Sinaloa? Steph Curry. Big fan.
I wish I shot 3-pointers like him.
The Blue Devils offense up 10 with 12 minutes to go. I mean, the Cal defense, you got to give them credit. They're keeping their team in the game even as their offense has just kind of evaporated.
They've done an amazing job, and they're not getting any rest. You know, it's been 3 and out on the other side for this Cal offense. This has been a really impressive second-half performance by this Cal defense. We'll see if they're able to get one more stop here to keep this team in the game.
Basically, we have 100 yards of total offense in the second half combined between the two teams. Another run play and a bigger hole this time. That's Jaquez Brown straight up the middle. Got stopped maybe a half a yard short.
It's a really great job by the right guard and right tackle Justin Pickett and Brian Parker, just completely moving the line of scrimmage.
Big number 77, Justin Pickett.
And that's what Duke wants to do here. You know, both of these teams have kind of been stuck in neutral here in the second half. The clock's ticking. Duke has a 2-possession lead. They want to melt as much clock as they can. They want to establish a run game. We'll see if this Duke offensive line can take things over here.
The play clock was winding down. Duke wasn't ready to snap the ball. So did they call a timeout?
The ruling of a first down.
I never saw the
signal.
Okay, so we're getting a review to see about the spot, I guess.
Yeah, see if it's a first down for Duke.
Not close. I mean, they actually gave him a generous spot. I think he's probably a full yard short, probably.
It's a nice effort by Jaquez Moore, but he might even be a yard and a half short on that look.
So I see in the end, it looked to me like they had signaled that it wasn't a first down, but in the end the chains moved, so they had reset and said first down. I got to think this is going to be 3rd and a yard, something like that.
I think you're right, Flem. I think this will be pretty quick.
.54 to go. Duke looking for what would be a big win for the Blue Devils. Back-to-back road games. You go up to Syracuse, have to play in the Dome, play by far your best game last week. And then you come here to Berkeley, so far from home, and get off to the slow start. You're down 21-7. It's looking like it's not going to be your night. They have really dominated the game since then.
This would be massive at what looks to be a wide open ACC conference race. If Duke is able to pull this one out, this will be the first time that they've won 4 consecutive ACC road games since 2014. You have to go back to last year.
Short of the line of game. It'll be 3rd down.
You have to go back to last year for that 4th consecutive one, but boy, this Duke Blue Devil program, they're doing some really good things right now.
They have talented players. They've got a quarterback to run the offense. They don't play Miami. They don't play Florida State.
So it's moments like this when you're in plus territory. It's 3rd and 1. If I'm Duke, if I'm the offensive coordinator, Jonathan Brewer, I'm hard play action. I'm taking a shot down the field because to me this is 4-down territory. I know I can pick up a yard on 4th down, but I'm going to try to catch the Cal defense off guard by taking a shot.
You got Castle in the backfield, and they will give it to him straight ahead. Castle, tough run. That was not an easy yard. So instead of doing what you thought they might, they just said, let's get the first down right here, right now.
Hey, you can't blame them, but this is that area of the field where if you're a defense, you have to be alert to shot plays. These are the areas that offenses try to shrink a drive, try to get this football into the end zone.
And that clock is definitely Duke's friend at this point. 10 minutes plus to go, but leading by 10 with the ball in Cal territory. Clock's going to become more of an issue. Blue Devils, who so often go at hyper speed, they're very content right now to take their time. Play clock all the way down to 5 before Mensah hands it off to Moore. Off and running Moore inside the 20 down to the 15. Jaquez Moore, don't forget about him. He's played a lot of football for Duke. I know they got the young stud Shepard. They got the transfer Castle. Moore can still go.
And it all gets set up by a big-time block by the left guard, 64, Jordan Larson. And then the tight end, Hazley, leading up for running back Jaquez Moore. Just a gaping, gashing hole in that Cal defense.
Oh, give it to Moore again on 1st down. And Moore churning his way down to the 10. Well, it almost feels like for Cal, if they don't force a field goal, their chances of winning this game are going out the window.
Yeah, I think you're right, Flem. And right now, it's not looking good for this Cal defense. You just had to wonder, when were they going to wear down? They've been out on that field so much here tonight in the 2nd half. And right now, this Duke offensive line is really starting to take over the football game by getting this run game going.
2nd and 7. Now Shepard in the backfield. Mensah going to the end zone, and Barcade there, contested, caught it, touchdown. What a catch by Cooper Barcade. He had Zeke Massis all over him and came down with the ball.
Well, this is good on good. You're going to see Barcade run a corner route right here. And Flem, you just said it. He's being covered by Massis, who's really shown to be a lockdown corner this year for Cal. It's pretty good coverage down the field. But Darian Mensah showing off his accuracy, putting that football where only Barcade can make a play on the ball. Excellent throw and catch. That is big league stuff.
I'm not going to say the game's over, but for Duke, a massive step towards a huge road win. The touchdown and the extra point makes it 38-21.
Well, Darian Mensah, 22 of 30 tonight, 265 and 2 touchdowns. But how about that throw to Barkay? It's all things Blue Devils right now.
All right, it's time to take a look at tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Royal Caribbean.
Well, I'll tell you what, the ACC leader coming in tonight in touchdowns and passing yards has not disappointed. He has certainly been worth the price of admission, making plays inside the pocket, outside the pocket. But to me, what's been the most impressive thing is the downfield throws. You see the accuracy, and then that last touchdown right here to Barkay. This is as good as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. That throw is so difficult to make. There was great coverage by Zeke Masses. Puts the football where only his guy can make a play on the ball. I tell you what, this guy is going to start entering NFL draft conversations very, very soon because he has an elite skill set and a great talent.
Well, what an amazing story. You play your high school football in San Luis Obispo, at least some of your high school career. Nobody comes to see you. You don't get recruited by anybody. In the end, just enough good play to where Tulane. I mean, there were hardly any other programs recruiting Darian. Tulane recruits him. He goes to New Orleans, is like the third stringer, buried in the depth chart. Comes back before last year, wins the job, and has this great year. And all of a sudden, he's the man in the transfer portal, wanted by almost everybody.
It's a special story. He has certainly earned everything. He has gotten everything along the way. Plays with a chip on his shoulder. Leadership and tangibles are absolutely off the charts.
Meanwhile, Songa Politele, this is the story of the game. The Cal offensive line cannot block Duke. The Duke defense has just destroyed Cal on the offensive line. VJ Anthony.
Yeah, and it's really the big fella inside, number 4, Josiah Green, that gets the play started. Anthony's going to get rewarded with the sack. But those front 4, they have been relentless here in the second half tonight. So disruptive.
Raphael catches out of the backfield and will dive forward and get enough for a Cal first down.
And that really is the story of the game. You were just alluding to it. This Cal offense came out the gates firing. The first 3 possessions of the game were touchdowns. And then they've been ice cold since, but you got to give a lot of credit to this Duke defense.
They've just dominated them up front. And in the backfield again, Anthony. Songa Politele, that one juggled, and it worked out well for Raphael. Caught it out of the air and somehow gets a Cal first down. Nothing easy for the Bears offense. They still have 7+ minutes to go. If you could get down the field in a flash and get 7 on the board, maybe you at least feel like you still have some life in this game. But it's got to happen fast. That one tipped and intercepted. Went through the hands of Johnson, and Shopper, who's played a big part for Duke tonight, comes up with the 3rd Blue Devils interception, essentially to put this game away.
The true freshman, Elliott Shopper, is having himself a ball game coming in off the bench. The pass is slightly high, and Shopper makes Songa Politele pay. Blue Devil ball when we come back.
It's a lot of helmets. It's a lot of teams in the ACC. Miami, we know how impressive they are. They might be the best team in the country. Georgia Tech's been a great surprise team. How about Virginia winning on the road at Louisville today? Huge win for UVA. And the Duke Blue Devils about to go to 3-0 and match Virginia, just as we all thought, atop the ACC standings. Shepard gets the carry for Duke. I mean, look, this has a chance to be a really fun year in the ACC. You got Clemson and Florida State at the bottom of the standings. That's hard to explain. But I get the feeling that Duke, I mean, Virginia is a different conversation, but we'll just focus on the Blue Devils. they feel like they're for real the way they're playing these last few weeks.
It's because they are for real. I mean, this is a really, really impressive football team. Forget what happened the first 3 weeks of the season with the Blue Devils. The last 2 games and tonight, all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, they just haven't been good. They've been elite. And if Darian Mensah keeps playing the game the way he has been, this is going to be a team to reckon with in ACC play.
Shepard hits the big hole, and Shepard is going to go all the way for a touchdown. Overwhelming Cal here in Berkeley. 46 yards for the true freshman.
Well, you give Shepard any space.
Wow.
And that young man is going to be gone. Game-breaking speed. We talked about the physicality he runs with, but he just showed his speed off there. Once again, we've been talking a lot about true freshmen tonight. Shepard, he's one of those young players making a huge impact for the Blue Devil football team.
It was 21-7, Cal. 35 unanswered points from Duke.
I mean, this Duke team is impressive. Right here, I want you to keep an eye on right tackle Brian Parker, what he does here for his running back, Nate Shepard. So impressive, helps out with the defensive tackle, climbs up to the second level, gets his hands on Cade Uluave, and Shepard isn't even touched as he runs for the end zone.
I shorted him. My math just went out the window. I guess my interest in this game waned a little bit. 38 unanswered points for Duke. Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, put it that way. And just, you know, when you're getting offensive play like I just showed by guys like Brian Parker and then that young man right there, Nate Shepard, great game tonight, had a huge game a week ago. You see the difference in run games between the first 3 games compared to the last 2 weeks. This is a Duke Blue Devil football team that is hitting on all cylinders. And as you get into the teeth of ACC play, if you can run the football, control the line of scrimmage, get quality quarterback play, and play good defense, I mean, that is a championship formula.
They'll kick it off once again for the Bears. It's going to be regroup time. And this has been sort of stunning how this game has unfolded. Well, tomorrow over on the ACC network, we got some women's volleyball. One of the best teams in the country, number 5 Pitt against Georgia Tech. You got women's soccer, Cal and SMU, and North Carolina Pitt also on the pitch Sunday on the ACC network. Well, Cal's going to take their young quarterback out of the game with the score 45-21 and give Devin Brown some snaps back there. The Ohio State transfer, the kid that when he committed to Cal, most people thought, well, that'll be, he had a lot of experience at Ohio State, had some playing experience. That'll probably be the starter, and the young guy will watch and learn for a little while. Hasn't worked out that way, but Devin Brown into this game. And what do you think about Songa Politele? I mean, he threw 3 interceptions, not all on him. Had the incredible start. He was just making one spectacular pass after another.
He's going to be just fine. You know, these are those really tough moments as a young quarterback that you have to go through. But these are the games and the difficulties that will make you a better player in the long run. He's going to get to the film tomorrow. He has a great coaching staff around him. And Nick Rolovich, Brian Harsin. You know, these guys know how to coach quarterbacks, and he's going to learn from nights like tonight where he threw 3 interceptions. We all know the talent that the kid has. He's shown it a couple times this year. He'll be just fine, but he's got some big lessons to learn in this game.
Brown throws it right to Duke. So there's the 4th Blue Devils interception. Another turnover. That's Musa Kane who comes up with the pick. And the Blue Devils are running all the way down to the other end of the field where their fans are thrilled with what they've seen in this game. All smiles on the Blue Devils sideline. Really impressive. You know, Duke football history isn't just a path to glory uninterrupted.
This is about as easy as an interception as you can come across. Brown throws it right to Kane. And the 4th interception tonight by this Cal offense. Ton of credit needs to go to this Duke defense. They have absolutely been a machine at taking the football away through the last 3 games.
And now the backup quarterback for the Blue Devils will come in with the game decided. That's Henry Beelan. Travis Bates gets the carry. I mean, it's really 6 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions. Who would have ever thought that? You watch those first 3 possessions where Cal just went up and down the field, scored 3 straight touchdowns. I can hardly remember a game where things changed so dramatically.
I don't know what flip switched and where it was found, but somewhere at the start of that 4th series, this became a completely different game, but it was because of the defense of the Duke Blue Devils. What a performance tonight.
I mean, Duke's got a chance. This is the same team that Illinois came to Durham, and Illinois really pushed Duke around. Now, the final score probably wasn't totally indicative of the way that game was played, but it was an ugly loss for Duke. Then they go to Tulane, and Tulane beats them. And all the expectations and the thought of, hey, we got our quarterback and we've got all these weapons on both sides of the ball, NFL prospects, maybe more talent than any Duke team has ever had. I think it's possible this is the most talent that Duke has ever had at one time. And they were 1-2, and people were thinking, what is going on?
You know, I think through those first 3 games of the season, you have to assume that this Duke team, because of those expectations you were just talking about, they were playing a little tight. They were playing a little tense. And then going into that 4th week said, hey, we're just going to let loose. And that's what you've seen. They started taking the football away. They're protecting the football on offense. They're playing complementary football in all 3 phases. And right now, this is a winning formula by the Blue Devils.
Beelan, the senior, who's been around for a while and has had some playing experience. Last year started the bowl game for Duke. This year's thrown just a handful of passes. You know, part of that is maybe Mensah and all the attention that was on him coming out of the portal. You and I talked about that a little bit earlier tonight. We asked him, though, like, was there extra pressure on Darian? Was he, you know, it kind of got reported pretty widely the amount of money that it took for Duke to get him to come to campus. And the Duke coaches really said, we didn't think it was about that, because everybody on this roster understood that he earned that. That he, with his work and climbing the ladder, climbing the depth chart, getting a chance to play, having the year he did last year, he earned it.
Yeah, he's...
We might talk a little bit more about Darian Mensah after the 2-minute timeout rudely interrupted us. Well, as we wrap up another day and night of college football, our college football rankings brought to you by Capital One. A couple top 10 teams go down, Penn State and Texas. Great wins for Miami, for Texas A&M. I'm looking ahead. Oregon, Indiana is next week in Eugene. Game day is announced. They're going to be there. That's a pretty big game with the old Cal quarterback at the helm in Bloomington.
Fernando Mendoza off to a great start with his new ball club in Bloomington. Can he go on the road? Autzen Stadium, college game day. That is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
You and I got to know Fernando pretty darn well over the last couple of years, watching a lot of this Cal team. Easy guy to root for.
Easy. Great young man, smart, fun to be around, good personality, and just lighting it up for the Indiana Hoosiers through the first month of college football.
All smiles on the Duke sideline. They're going to have a fun flight home. It's a long flight back to Durham, but they are going to be in a good mood with a bye week coming up next after the long travel, back-to-back road games. Now on 4th down, the quarterback scramble for a first down. And now all Duke will have to do is take a knee a couple times. And that'll finish this game off. When we're done, just seconds from now, coming up next on SportsCenter, all that college football stuff we were talking about. The big win for UCLA down in Pasadena. FCS quarterback making history. That's a good tease. And Shohei Ohtani on the mound at the plate. Great game in Philly. Dodgers, Phillies, all the baseball coverage as well. Coming up next. Manny Diaz, he's going to be proud of his team.
He's got to be happy. Big road trip, right? We talked about it. Coming all the way east to west. They flew out here on Thursday. Long waiting around in the hotel to wait and play Saturday night. But what a massive conference road win to get here tonight in Berkeley.
Yeah, just a great job by Duke. The 38 unanswered points to finish off Cal. 45-21. The Blue Devils, we haven't said this a lot in the past. They are a force to be reckoned with this year in the ACC.
Listen, offense puts butts in the seats, but defense wins championships. And right now, you have a quarterback at Duke that can make any play that you need. You also have a defense playing at a championship level. I can't wait to see what Duke does as they head in to the teeth of this ACC conference schedule.
Oh, what a homecoming, too, for Darian Mensah. A chance to play. I mean, it's 200 miles from his home, but about as close as he can get these days. And I'm sure he and his family and friends really enjoy watching him play in Berkeley. Their first 3-0 start in ACC play in a good long while. Manny Diaz has got himself a team.
Yes, he does. I think they put the rest of the ACC conference on notice tonight. This was a massive win to get out here on the West Coast.
All right, for Brock Osweiler, for Stormy Bonatoni, for our whole great crew, Dave Fleming saying thanks for watching this presentation of the college football primetime on ESPN. Now it's time to take you to SportsCenter. Shay and Trevor standing by.